Good afternoon, guys. This is Working, bringing you a quick update on EOS. Hope everyone's having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at EOS for the US dollar 4-hour chart on Bitfinex. And last time we spoke, guys, I warned you guys of two possible bullish scenarios. I said if the bulls were going to, I said this was kind of a last stand for the bulls. They had two options. Option number one, price could come down. This was going to be the most bullish scenario. Price came down, hit this June low of about 6.55, double bottom, and impulsed back up. I said scenario two, possibly a little less bullish, more of a short-term play would be price come down, hits this low here of about 6.82, and then has a small bounce from there. That's exactly what happened. Price came down, created a small double bottom within this microstructure here. Let me just zoom in here so you guys can see it a little bit better. Small little double bottom within this microstructure here. Hit this, had a little run up, and now we're waiting to see which way price is going to break. It's operating within this wedge here. Again, we're looking at the 4-hour chart. If I zoom in here to the 30 minutes, let's try to make sense of this latest rise. Excuse me, guys. So for me, this looks to me like 5 possible waves up. There is 5 waves up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if that is correct, guys, it looks to me like we're on an ABC correction. So we're looking at something like this, A, B, and down for the C. If this is in fact correct, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our swing low, swing high from this microstructure. So let's come in here, find our swing low, up to our swing high, assuming this is the top of our 5th wave. We're going to be looking for price to come down and correct somewhere into this zone. If it's going to remain bullish, it's going to correct somewhere into this zone for our C wave, so somewhere between 7.09 and 6.99. So somewhere within this 10-cent range, I would expect to see price bounce if we are to remain bullish, guys. And again, that's a big if. I'm not saying that we are going to. I'm just saying that's a big if. This is where I'd be looking for a bounce. If you wanted to make a play, you could. If it were me, I'm not going to play this, but if I was going to, I'd be having my buy orders stacked in here at about between $7 and $6.95, expecting it to come down, possibly wick into the golden zone, possibly just a wick right below, and then a quick impulse up. I'd be getting in and getting out very, very quickly. So in my opinion, we can see this little order structure down here. More than likely, it would we would have a decent bounce off here, come up, bounce. I would target this structure right up in here. So more than likely, I'd be targeting from $7 to $7.15, somewhere thereabouts. A very quick scalp trade, guys. Just maybe 1.5%, 2%, which I'll do 2% trades all day long. Very, very low risk. But again, guys, that's just my opinion. I'm probably not going to take that trade. Looking to the upside, guys, if we do end up impulsing up or breaking up or getting a bounce in here, or it could just take off from here, guys. We had a decent bounce off the 382 here, so it could just come down. And actually, we didn't even make it to the 382. Looks like we made it to low as 10, missed it by about a penny, so almost hit the 382. So if price does come up, the zone that we're going to be looking to take out is this structure, or this area right in here. You can see that's a very good supply zone. We can see price came up in here, wick before it broke down. So I do expect that to be a very, very, very strong support zone. Let's go ahead and zoom back out so we can get a little better look at this. Let me go ahead and get rid of this so you guys aren't getting, so there's not a whole lot of clutter. Let's get rid of this, get rid of this. Okay, if we zoom back out here, let's look at the 4-hour chart. Look at this structure that we're in. So if we go from this swing high to this swing low, we can see that this area right in here, we've created this supply zone sitting at about 7.40 and 7.32. It's going to be critical to break. That's a 382 fib level, also a very strong supply zone, as I said. So that's going to be critical to break. If we do end up breaking that zone, 382 fib level right here between 7.63. It should be a slight resistance. Doesn't look like it's going to be very, very strong, though, but still, I have to respect that. Though more than likely, though, I'm not seeing a whole lot of resistance until we get up in here to the 618 fib level. 618 fib is going to be a very strong resistance, in my opinion. We can see that has been in the past, created a lot of market order. In fact, if I turn on, I should say, excuse me, my volume profile, we can see that certainly right in here, almost exactly at the 618, right in the golden pocket between the 618 fib and the 65 fib level. So between 8.14 and 8.20, guys, it's going to be a very strong support. If we can get north of that support, and also, let me get rid of this volume profile so it's not cluttering up my screen here. If we can get north of that 618 fib level and north of this descending resistance line here, guys, it's going to be a very, very bullish sign. Although I know I'm getting way ahead of myself now, guys. Just want to kind of give you guys keep you guys updated so you know what to look for going ahead. So, but in the short term, as we zoom in here, guys, in the short term, if it does break out, we need to see it clear the top of this zone. So clear at least a 7.41. If it does that, it's going to be a very, very bullish sign. To the downside, guys, wouldn't be surprised if price does end up breaking down. And at the moment, it looks like it might came up double top right here, where it wicked up here at about 7.25, test it, and then immediately get rejected back down. If that does happen, I would expect price to come down here, possibly create a triple bottom. At that point, either impulse up or break down. If that triple bottom does break down, so if we drop below 6.82 for a drop below this prior low of 6.82, I think it's going to be a very, very quick drop down to the prior June low of 6.55, and that is where I'm looking for a double bottom bounce of this larger structure that I was talking about yesterday. At that point, I will stack in buy orders sitting between 6.60 and 6.50 with a very tight stop at 6.40. I'm expecting a bounce off of there, and I'll be in and out very, very quickly. If I do play that zone, guys, I'm only going to be targeting the top of this zone at 6.90 at the most, $7, just to get in and get out. It's a very unpredictable market, guys, as I said many, many times. If this zone does break down, if we do break below the 655, at that point, I think there's no support between 655 and $6. So I think it'll be a very quick drop to $6, or 5.75. This is a decent supply, or excuse me, not supply zone, but a decent resistance zone between $6, or excuse me, not resistance. I can't talk today, guys. Sorry about that. A decent support, I should say. Let's get my terms right here. Support zone between $6 and $5.75, guys. So I would expect that to act as a decent support, and I wouldn't expect that to break. So anyway, guys, looking at our RSI, we can see RSI sitting at about 42. Not looking great, but not looking the worst either. We did have a little bit of a rise. We'll just have to wait and see if that can continue. Stock RSI is showing overbought at the moment, guys, but we know that can sit up there at overbought for quite some time. Let's zoom out here to the daily. Looking at the daily RSI, this is a little more interesting. We can see, let me zoom in here. We can see yesterday the RSI came down, created a bear trap, trapped some people low here, immediately got rejected back up within this wedge. As long as the RSI on the daily remains within this wedge, guys, that's going to be a very, very bullish sign. Even if we don't get above it for now, if we just remain within the wedge, that'll be a very, very bullish sign. Obviously, as we approach the apex, then a breakout in one direction or another becomes more likely. If it does break below this wedge, guys, at that point, we are going to be expecting a retest of that $6.55 range. And if that does break, a quick drop to $6, in my opinion, guys. So we'll be keeping an eye on that wedge to see how it ends up playing out. Looking at our moving averages on the daily chart, we can see prices sitting down here below on the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So a bounce would make sense in this area. We're still well below the 8-day EMA, which is represented in blue here, guys. It's still a bearish market, but hopefully we can start to turn things around. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see price has finally rose above that resistance. The 8-day EMA is also sitting here in blue. On the 4-hour chart, it got above it. Fortunately, it's now the 8-day EMA is now acting as support. As long as price can remain above the 8-day EMA, the 21-day EMA is represented in yellow here. It's acting as resistance. If price can break above the 21-day EMA, that'd be a very, very bullish sign, guys. We can also see the Bollinger Bands are starting to squeeze tighter and tighter, indicating a possible larger move in the near future may be coming. Not there yet. We still have plenty of room to go, but we're starting to see that consolidation, that tighter movement. If in the future, if we start to see our moving averages and exponential moving averages all start to converge together, we'll know a larger move is coming. So looking at, let's go ahead and check our long and short positions. Looking at longs are starting to stack, tells us the market thinks that the price is going to go higher. If we check out shorts have dropped. Looks like people got liquidated with that latest bounce, kind of moving sideways, guys. So for now, it looks like the market thinks that price is going to go higher. That is a little bit kind of a double-edged sword, guys. Anytime we see that, the market makers like to take these people's money. These are retail investors pushing the betting long, and we know that the market makers, this is a highly manipulated market. Market makers love to take retail investors' money. So oftentimes you see this, we could see a quick bounce, or we could see a quick liquidation. They could go hunting for a stop. Or they could go stop hunting. In other words, if this thing does break down, they could be breaking stops. A lot of people probably have their stops sitting around 6.70, somewhere thereabouts. So we could even see a quick bull trap where price ends up breaking down, or excuse me, bear trap where price ends up breaking down. Everyone thinks it's breaking down, that creates a double bottom and then shoots back up. So a lot of scenarios, guys. I don't mean to be wishy-washy. I know that's a little frustrating when analysts tell you this, but that's just telling you what I see, guys. No real clear direction at the moment. As I said, my bias coming in here to the 4-hour looks like kind of like a rising wedge. My bias is price is going to come back up, either hit the top of this zone or hit this prior high from this wick at 725 and then break back down. Doesn't mean that can happen though, guys. If we do break above this zone here, this supply zone here, the top of which is 7.41, at that point I think there's a chance for a very, very quick rise up to at least 7.70. So anyway, guys, these are my quick thoughts on EOS. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, please trade safe. This is Workin, signing out.